Hello, welcome to another physics tutorial. For this one, we're going to look at Newton's laws of motion. We're going to look at adding vectors. And we have a side-on view of a box. We're looking to find the weight and acceleration of the box below. So our first step is we're going to break these down into components. I'm going to draw this vector over here. And I'm going to say it has 10 newtons at a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to say this one is 1 newton going that way. And I'm going to create my chart. I'm going to have my x component and my y component. And I'm going to calculate those values. So to find this one, I'm going to use 10 times cosine of 45, which is 7.07. And this one is going to be 10 times sine of 45, which is also 7.07. And those are the same because it's 45, 45, 90 triangle. So for our second force vector, we have 1 newton to the left. So the x part is 1, and the y part is 0. So we're going to look at this in 2 directions. So the first thing we're going to look at is, so let's look at the y direction. So in the y direction, the weight of the box is equal to the force of gravity, which is equal to mass times the acceleration. So the weight of just the box without any force applied to it would be equal to the mass times the acceleration of gravity, which is 20. However, we also have this blue applied force over here that is pushing down on the box, and that is adding to the weight because gravity is pushing down and this applied force is pushing down. And the only part that's pushing down on it is this y component. So we're going to define the weight of the box with the push. We're going to add the normal weight of the box, and we're going to add the down part to the weight of the box, which is this y part. So we're going to add 7.07. So the total weight would be 27.07 newtons. So with just gravity at weight 20, and you're pushing the down 7.07, so you would add those together. So to find the acceleration is only acting in the x direction. So we're going to use the velocity in the x direction, and we have 2 of them. Sorry, we're going to use the forces in the x direction. So we have 2 of them. We have 7.07 and 1. So the force in the x direction is 7.07. That is pushing to the right. And then we have the 1 newton pushing to the left. So we're going to subtract the 1 because it's going in the opposite direction. So the force in the x direction would be 6.07 newtons. And so we can use that to find the acceleration. So we're going to use just the x part. So it would be 6.07 equals 2a. We can divide both sides by 2, and we get an answer of 3.04 meters per second squared. And that is your answer. So once again, for the weight, we're just using the y parts, because that's the direction that gravity is working. And then for the acceleration, we're only using the x parts because this box is only moving in the x direction because the ground is preventing it from moving in the y direction. I'm going to show you one more example. The other example is this one. It's going to start off the same way. We're going to break this 10 newton vector into x and y components. So the x component and the y, x, of course, would be 10 times cosine of 60, which is 5. And then we have 10 times sine of 60, which is 8.66. And we're going to do the same thing. So we have weight of just the box would be 10, which is the mass, times 10, which is gravity. So remember, weight is force is ma. So the box has a mass of 10, and then a for gravity is 10. So that would be what the box weighed on its own. However, we're pulling up on the box. So because we're pulling up on the box, we are making the box lighter. So the box normally weighs 100 newtons. And what we're going to do for the total weight is we're going to take the weight of the box and we are subtracting our y part of 8.66. And that will give us our value. So let's subtract that. 100 minus 8.66, we get 91.34. So we're making the box lighter once again because we're pulling up. And to find the acceleration of the box, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the force in the x direction. This time we're pulling in the x direction right here, 5. And 5 would equal 10a. We divide both sides by 10, and we get 1/2. And that is it. Hope you understood it. If you have any more questions, please come and ask.